All right, getting back to these examples. So we'll continue to do the same thing as we did on example 1 and 2. Sorry, I had to make sure I was recording. Still getting used to this. So I would really like for you to pause the video in a little bit and see how far you can get with 3 and 4. And then once you either get stuck or you're done with it, hit the play button. I'll go through and explain it relatively quickly and then go from there. Then we'll continue with the other examples because if you notice on 5 and 6, they are a little bit different than 3 and 4, okay? So let me find my bearing. Gotta turn my pen the right way if I do this. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video now. All right, now that you've restarted the video, I'm going to go through this pretty quickly. X squared is positive. Everything, the x's and the constant are one side, y's on the other. So we're good to go. We're going to go ahead and find the factors. 2 is a prime number, so the only factors are 1 and 2. Now when you do this, the last number is negative. And since the last number is negative, you have to have a negative and a positive. Because the only way to multiply to a negative number is a negative and a positive number. And if you remember the little trick for this, if this symbol is negative, the symbol in front will tell you what the larger number is. The larger factor is 2, so it's positive, and this one's 1. After you're done with that, you're going to set these equal to 0 and solve. And so if you add the 1, you get 1, and if you subtract the 2, you get negative 2. So your answer comes out, oops, forgot the negative, as negative 2, 1. That is negative. Okay, it just doesn't look like it. I wrote that too quick. Now I'm putting these in numerical order for the most part. You don't have to do that. If you do videos on Khan Academy, they do sometimes ask for them to be in a certain order. So just keep that in your head. So I'm going to write this differently like I said I would, but I think I did it up here, so I do apologize. So you can write that x or that equals 0 on the other side. It does not make a difference. Okay, you're still doing the same thing. You're setting equal to 0. X squared is positive. The constant's on the same side as the x's. We're all good to go. We're just going to find the factors. Now, if you notice, I'm writing a negative and a positive. Okay, and that reason is because this is a negative number, so you need a negative and a positive to multiply to a negative number. So factors of 27 are 1 and 27, 2 and nothing. Not sure why I wrote that. 3 and 9, and that's it. 3 and 9. Only two numbers that will get you 6, so 1 and 27 is out. Since this is negative, the symbol in front is going to tell you what the larger factor is. So the larger factor is positive, and this is negative. From there, we set each one equal to 0, and we solve. So if you add this 3 over, you get 3, and if you subtract this 9, because you have to solve it, you get negative 9. So your final answer turns out to be negative 9 and 3. Okay, all right, so 1 through 4 pretty much the same setup. So setting it equal to 0, all of that. Now if you look at number 5, we have an x squared, we have an 8x, but we have no constant. So that's the situation. If there's a situation where there's no constant, no just straight number. Okay, you're gonna have to factor by greatest common factor. Okay, you're still setting equal to 0, doesn't matter which side, but you have to factor this. The only type of factoring here is the greatest common factor. So the greatest common factor is they both have an x. You're then dividing each thing by x. X squared divided by x is x. 8x divided by x is negative 8. And voila, we're done factoring. Once you're done factoring, you do have your two factors to set equal to 0, although it doesn't look the same as up here. It's not in parentheses. These are factors of this right here, of the x squared minus 8x. So you're able to set them equal to 0. Now, if you notice, that's already set equal to 0. It's done. Okay, you got the answer. And if you add the 8, you got your answers. So your answer is 0 and 8. Okay. In the next video, I'll try to pull up Desmos and show you proof of how we're doing this, just so you know I'm not making this stuff up. Okay, so number 6, this has no x to the first power. Okay, what you should notice is that these two things are subtracting. It's a binomial because there's two terms, and you can take the square root of 4, you can take the square root of x squared, and you take the square root of 81, and that is factoring by difference of perfect squares. So if you remember, you're basically taking the square root of everything and having a plus and minus sign. So the square root of 4 is 2. The square root of x is x, so we write this in the front. Do not switch the orders. If this is in the front, the square root of it's in the front. If this is in the back, the square root of that is in the back. You don't switch the order up. That's a no-go. All right. So this is the factors of 4x squared minus 81. Because it's x to the first power on both of them, you cannot factor this any farther. The only type of factoring you could do is greatest common factor, but it's really not a big deal in the situation. So 2x minus 9 equals 0. It doesn't matter if I put the 0 on the left or right side. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to subtract the 9, or add the 9, sorry. It's subtracting, so add the 9. I'm running out of room, so I'm not going to write it. And then you're going to divide by the 2, which gives you 9 over 2. Here you're going to subtract the 9 over, which gives you 2x equals negative 9. And if you divide this 2 over, because it's multiplied to x, you get negative 9 halves. Now there's two ways to write this, okay? You can write it as, and I'm going to run out of room, negative 9 over 2, comma 9 over 2, or the lazy way, which I love, and you can write plus or minus 9 over 2. Now you can do that because what it's saying is x equals positive 9 over 2, which is that answer, and x equals negative 9 over 2, which is that answer. So either way is acceptable. I imagine a lot of people will like this because it's a little less work. All right, I'm going to end this video here so it's not so much again. Please come up and pick up number 7 and 8, and I believe, is there another page? Yep. So there's a lot more factoring going on here. I'm going to break this up into 3 parts. All right, so please continue the next lesson. All right, thank you. Bye.